June 6, 1944. 156,000 soldiers storm Normandy beaches. August 1944. Patton's Third Army halts 100 miles from Germany out of fuel. 1941 to 1945. Soviet industry survives on Arctic supplies crossing 1,000 miles of ocean hell. Wars aren't won by bullets alone. They're won by engineers who built harbors from nothing, truckers who drove without sleep, and shipyards that launched victory from assembly lines. These are the logistics feats that made victory possible. D-Day succeeded spectacularly on June 6, 1944, when 156,000 Allied troops stormed 5 Normandy beaches. But victory hung by a thread. The Germans had demolished Cherbourg Harbor. No major French port remained intact. Without secure artificial harbors, the invasion force risked annihilation from supply shortages. Enter Operation Mulberry, the greatest maritime engineering feat in military history. British engineer Alan Beckett conceived the Mulberry Harbors in 1942, but construction began in total secrecy during 1943. 2 prefabricated ports capable of handling 12,000 tons of cargo daily, equivalent to Liverpool's capacity, would be towed across the channel and assembled under combat conditions. Each Mulberry comprised 2 key components: the outer breakwater of massive Phoenix caissons and the floating Mulberry Pier, called whale roadways. The Phoenix caissons represented unprecedented engineering. 145 monolithic concrete boxes, each 200 feet long, 100 feet wide, and weighing up to 6,000 tons, formed the breakwater. Built in total secrecy at locations across southern England, crews toiled around the clock. The largest, code-named Hippopotamus, measured 335 feet long and displaced 9,000 tons when floated. Engineers scuttled these watertight fortresses in a precise crescent 1.5 miles offshore to create a sheltered harbor 3,000 feet wide and 3,000 feet long. Construction proved brutal. Workers faced concrete shortages, labor disputes, and German air reconnaissance. To maintain secrecy, workers called them gooseberries. When Churchill inspected the first completed Phoenix at Southampton in May 1944, he marveled at the engineering audacity. These weren't mere breakwaters, they contained anti-aircraft guns, searchlights, and internal compartments for future pier connections. Whale floating roadways formed the Mulberry's genius. Each pier consisted of 160 linked pontoons 60-foot long, 12-foot wide concrete boxes capped with steel spans forming a mile-long roadway floating on the tide. Massive Winnipeg cranes, floating on their own pontoons, unloaded Liberty ships directly onto these floating piers. Tidal range exceeding 30 feet required the entire pier system to rise and fall as one unit, connected by massive chains and ballast tanks. On D-Day +1, June 7th, engineers began the impossible. Amid Luftwaffe harassment and E-boat attacks, Royal Engineers positioned the first Phoenix caissons off Gold Beach for Mulberry A, British/Canadian sector. Operation progressed relentlessly despite 40-foot channel seas. By June 15th, Mulberry A became operational off Arromanches, handling 6,000 tons daily. Mulberry B off Omaha Beach followed on June 19th, designed for American forces. Then disaster struck. On June 19th, the worst channel storm in 40 years raged for 3 days. Mulberry A survived, battered but functional. Mulberry B, exposed to Atlantic swells off Omaha, disintegrated completely. Of 146 Phoenix caissons at Omaha, 89 broke free. Whale piers smashed against the Normandy cliffs. 6 American Liberty ships sank at their moorings. Winston Churchill watched the devastation from Admiralty House, fearing the invasion's collapse. Yet Mulberry A performed miracles. From June 19th to August 19th, Arromanches Harbor handled 2.25 million tons of cargo, 100,000 vehicles, 500,000 tons of ammunition, 1 million tons of fuel and food. Without Mulberry, the Normandy breakout would have stalled. General Montgomery credited the artificial harbor with saving the campaign. By unloading 17,000 tons daily at peak, Mulberry exceeded its design capacity by 50%. German intelligence dismissed Mulberry as impossible. When Luftwaffe reconnaissance photographed the first Phoenix caissons towed into position, analysts reported mere debris. Field Marshal Rommel, inspecting coastal defenses, never suspected allies would attempt such engineering audacity. The Germans captured the secret through ultra-decrypts, but believed no such harbor could withstand channel weather. Mulberry's engineering innovations proved revolutionary. The St. Laurent floating breakwater, a secondary outer mole of sunken block ships, protected Omaha's remnants. Corn Cob roadways, millions of wooden blocks laid across muddy beaches, supported heavy traffic. Gooseberry Harbors at Gold, Juneau, and Utah beaches supplemented Mulberry capacity. Together, these facilities sustained 37 divisions ashore by August 1944. Churchill ordered Mulberry-A's demolition in August to clear Cherbourg approaches, but its legacy endured. Captured German engineers marveled at the construction. Post-war analysis revealed Mulberry handled 40% of Allied Normandy supplies through August, more cargo than all Channel ports combined during the same period. The artificial harbor transformed amphibious warfare, proving engineers could create deep-water ports under combat conditions. Mulberry Harbors solved beach unloading, but rapid advance across France created new crisis. By August 20, 1944, Patton's Third Army reached the Seine 100 miles from Paris, then halted completely out of fuel, ammunition, and supplies. Cherbourg remained barely functional. The rail network lay destroyed. Enter the Red Ball Express, greatest trucking operation in military history that sustained Allied breakout at speed of blitzkrieg. Lieutenant General John C.H. Lee, Services of Supply Commander, launched Red Ball Express on August 25, 1944. Named after railway Red Ball priority freight trains, the operation created two high-speed, one-way truck highways running 350 miles from Cherbourg supply depots to forward railheads. Route 1 paralleled the coast. Red Ball Route 2 cut through central France. GMC CCKW 2-ton trucks de Saint-A-Half became backbone, each carrying 5 tons around the clock. Operation demanded ruthless efficiency. Military police enforced one-way traffic, no passing, no sightseeing, fixed speeds. Trucks operated 24/7 in convoys of 100 vehicles, driver relief every 5 hours. Neutral turnarounds at 70-mile intervals prevented traffic jams. Gasoline rationing created crisis. Each truck consumed 2 miles per gallon while delivering fuel. British Queen Mary trailers supplemented American capacity. African-American 161st Transportation Truck Company bore heaviest burden. Segregated units drove 70% of mileage despite comprising 25% of drivers. Sergeant Moses S. Moore recalled 50-hour weeks through blackout conditions, dodging Luftwaffe night fighters and French resistance sabotage. Truckers navigated bomb craters, collapsed bridges, snipers, and civilians desperate for food. One driver remembered French children chasing ration crates tossed from speeding convoys. Red Ball peaked September 1944, delivering 12,500 tons daily, 700 truckloads every hour. From August 25 to November 15, 1944, the Express moved 413,000 tons of cargo over 350 million ton miles. Peak day September 22 saw 4,000 trucks operate simultaneously. Fuel consumption reached crisis. Red Ball trucks alone burned 3 million gallons monthly while delivering gasoline. French civilians watched awestruck as endless convoys transformed their roads. One diarist near Ailnon recorded headlights stretching to horizon, hour after hour. Villages emptied of food as truckers bartered rations. Local mayors protested dust clouds destroying crops. Yet without Red Ball, Patton's army would have stalled permanently. Crisis peaked early October when fuel stocks fell to 10-day supply. General Eisenhower personally intervened, rationing all units to 50% fuel allocation. British Monty offered rail support, but destroyed French network defied repair. Red Ball truckers responded with superhuman effort. Some drove 30 hours continuously. By mid-November, when rail lines finally restored, Red Ball had achieved impossible. Sustained mechanized offensive across entire liberated France. Operation revealed logistical limits. Truck maintenance collapsed under strain. Tire shortages crippled fleets. French roads deteriorated under 12-ton axle loads. Winter weather and mud compounded problems. Yet Red Ball succeeded where German logistics failed spectacularly. While Allies pushed 350 miles in 90 days, Germans never advanced that distance without secure railheads. Red Ball veterans received little recognition. African-American drivers earned distinguished unit citations denied by segregation policy. Total casualties numbered over 6,000 from accidents, combat, and exhaustion. The operation demonstrated that American industrial capacity, 400,000 trucks in Europe, could substitute for rail when necessary. Red Ball Express bought time for rail reconstruction and sustained victory momentum when German armies desperately needed pause. Red Ball solved continental logistics, but Soviet survival depended on Arctic lifeline across 1,000 miles of ocean warfare. From August 1941 to May 1945, Allied convoys delivered 4 million tons of cargo, 23,000 tanks, 38,000 aircraft, 4 million tons food, keeping Soviet industry operational when Germany controlled Ukraine's grain and Donetsk coal. Operation Dervish, PQ, and JW series represented humanity's most dangerous maritime supply line. First convoy sailed August 31, 1941 from Iceland. PQ, zero testing German reaction. Success prompted regular sailings. PQ, 12 lost one ship of 15 in March 1942. Disaster struck with PQ, 17 June 1942. Commodore Broom's 35 merchant ships, 21 escorts, guarded by distant HMS Duke of York and Victorious, faced Luftwaffe, U-boats, and Tirpitz threat. Admiralty ordered scatter on June 4. Disaster. Luftwaffe sank 24 ships. Only 11 survived with 70,000 tons cargo. Churchill called it one of the worst disasters. PQ, 18 September 1942 cost 13 of 40 ships, but inflicted heavy Luftwaffe losses, proving convoys could fight. Allies shifted tactics: close escorts, hunter-killer groups, air cover from Iceland. JW, 51B December 1942 saw cruiser Sheffield and destroyer Onslow destroy destroyer Friedrich Eckold in first radar-directed night surface action. Germans lost surface attack capability. Convoys faced midnight sun summer, 24-hour polar darkness winter. Temperatures plunged to -40°F. Ships iced 12 inches thick, becoming top-heavy. Liberty ships cracked apart from thermal stress. Deck crews worked in wool greatcoats, oilskins, life jackets, steel helmets. Gunners manned Oerlikons, Bofors, pom-poms through hurricane-force gales. One survivor recalled waves sweeping gunners overboard, frozen corpses washing back aboard. Soviet cargo proved decisive. Convoy PQ, 12 delivered 15,000 tons aluminum for Yak fighters. JW, 53 March 1944 brought 48 Hawker Hurricanes protecting Murmansk. Tanks from Detroit rolled off decks to face Panthers at Kursk. Food from Argentina prevented starvation when Ukraine fell. Churchill noted, "Without American tanks and planes, Russia would have collapsed." Royal Navy committed 40% of cruiser strength, 20% destroyers to Arctic despite Pacific demands. US Navy provided 50 destroyers, 30 merchant ships. Merchant Navy losses reached 17%. Convoy Commodore Captain Roberts earned DSC after beating off 20 Ju-88 attacks with single 4-inch gun. Norwegian destroyer St. Albans rammed U-354 December 1942. German losses mounted. U-354 sunk with 47 dead. Tirpitz remained impotent after Scharnhorst sunk December 26, 1943 by Duke of York in Battle of North Cape. Convoy JW, 55B screen. Luftwaffe lost 315 aircraft. By 1944, German surface threat eliminated, U-boat losses unsustainable. Final convoy, RA, 59, sailed unmolested May 1945. 4 million tons delivered changed history. Stalin demanded convoys continue despite losses. Roosevelt overruled US Navy objections. British Foreign Office noted Soviet output doubled 1942 to 44 due Arctic supplies. Kursk, Bagration, Berlin victories rested on Detroit steel, British shipping, American food. Arctic convoy veterans called it hell on high seas. Humanity's most dangerous supply line succeeded where military logic predicted failure. Arctic convoys delivered cargo, but required ships. German U-boats sank 3,500 Allied vessels 1939 to 1945. Britain faced strangulation before America entered war. Solution: Liberty ships, emergency cargo vessels built faster than Germans could sink them. From 1941 to 1945, 2,710 Liberties launched, averaging one every 4.2 days at peak. Greatest industrial mobilization in maritime history. Henry Kaiser's Oregon shipyards pioneered technique. First Liberty, SS Patrick Henry, launched September 27, 1941 from Bethlehem Fairfield Yard, Baltimore, 4 months construction. Kaiser demanded 10 days. Engineers prefabricated 99% hull components ashore. Welding replaced riveting 30% faster, 25% cheaper. Cranes lifted pre-assembled deckhouses intact. Launchways greased for 2-minute slides. Willamette Iron and Steel, Portland, delivered SS Joseph N. Teal June 15, 1942, 10 days, 3 hours from keel to christening. World record stunned Washington. Kaiser yards built 30% Liberties despite West Coast location. Peak month, December 1943. 93 Liberties launched. Richmond Shipyard No. 2 employed 45,000 workers, many women. Rosie the Riveters welding hull plates. Liberty design prioritized production over performance. 441 feet long, 56-foot beam, 14,245 gross tons. Triple expansion reciprocating steam engines, 2,500 IP, 11 knots maximum. Carried 10,000 tons cargo, 38 tanks, or 5,000 troops. Merchant marine crews of 81 navigated worldwide. Triple bottom, 8 watertight bulkheads provided survivability. Modular construction revolutionized shipbuilding. Bow unit 150 feet long, complete with forecastle. Midships sections welded dockside. Stern contained engine room, bridge. Gantries lifted 750-ton units onto greased launchways. Kaiser Yard No. 3 launched 12 ships simultaneously March 1944. British mission called it floating assembly line. U-boat sinkings peaked 1942 to 600,000 tons monthly. Liberty production countered. 1943 monthly average 70 ships, 500,000 tons capacity. Kaiser yards alone launched 747 Liberties. Peak workforce 1944. 96,309 across 4 Richmond yards. Training schools taught 250,000 shipyard workers annually. Quality issues emerged. Brittle fracture plagued 1,100 Liberties hull plates cracking in Arctic temperatures. SS John P. Gaines disintegrated January 1943, crews safely evacuated. Eyeglass frames discovered as cause impurities creating stress concentrations. US Maritime Commission mandated higher-grade steel, notch toughening July 1943. Liberties served everywhere. Arctic convoys, Pacific Island invasions, D-Day Mulberry Supply. SS Charles D. Mchall carried 575 tanks Fusag, June 1944. Operation Neptune required 5,000 ships. Liberties formed backbone. Post-war, Liberties fed Europe, carried refugees, served Korean War. Merchant marine losses horrific 9.8% of 243,000 sailors killed. Liberty crews earned equal pay, hazardous duty bonus. Post-war Congress denied veterans benefits until 1988. Kaiser died 1977, but shipyards named in his honor preserve legacy. Liberties proved industrial democracy could outproduce totalitarian war machines, 1 ship every 4.2 days. Logistics delivered supplies, but rivers stopped armies. Germans destroyed every bridge across France, Low Countries, Germany. Solution: Bailey Bridge portable steel truss invented by Briton Donald Bailey that crossed 1,000 rivers 1942 to 1945. 3,000 Bailey bridges built, longest 2,440 feet, longest military span ever. Greatest portable bridging feat ever. Bailey conceived design 1940 using Meccano set. Rejected complex welding for bolted panels anyone could assemble. Standard 12-foot panels weighed 3 tons, interchangeable. Panels stacked doubled height, added width. Launching nose allowed construction from one bank without scaffolding revolutionary. Royal Engineers, trained in 12 hours. First Bailey, siege bridge, crossed Medjurda River, Tunisia, May 1943, 350 feet, 13 tanks simultaneously. Reinforced with chess planking atop panels. Operation Husky, Sicily, saw 25 Bailey bridges. Italy campaign required 1,000 spans. Greatest concentration. Rhine crossings, March 1945, Remagen, Basel, Oppenheim. Bailey's genius lay in versatility. Time and distance method built pontoon-supported floating bridges. Panel trusses rested on pile bents, pontoons, even captured ferries. Double Bailey supported 40-ton tanks. Treble-handled 70-ton bridges. Chespulling, chess plus stringers plus planking, created roadway. Rhine crossings represented climax. March 24, 1945, Montgomery's 21st Army Group launched Operation Plunder across Rhine at Basel. Royal Engineers Class 40 Bailey Bridge spanned 1,067 feet across 200-foot deep river. Pontoon-supported center span used 80-foot panel towers. Germans counterattacked with V-2s, artillery, Me-262 jets. Engineers rebuilt under fire 17 times. US 9th Army at Remagen captured intact Ludendorff Railroad Bridge March 7, first Rhine crossing. Engineers reinforced Bailey style with additional trusses. Bridge collapsed March 17 with 400 casualties, but crossing secured. General Eisenhower called Bailey one of decisive factors of Allied victory. Italy's Apennines tested Bailey limits. Winter 1944 floods destroyed Sangro River spans. Engineers rebuilt using Ronson flamecutters on panels. Sangro Bridge carried 24-ton Shermans across 200-foot span. Gothic line breakthrough credited Bailey mobility. Burma campaign saw Bailey adaptations. M4 Sherman tanks crossed 1,000-foot Chindwin River spans on elephants hauling panels. Chindwin Bridge, 1,154 feet, supported 14 Army advance Mandalay. Japanese engineers couldn't match Bailey's speed, capacity. Bailey required no heavy machinery. 2 jeeps hauled 12 panels. Infantry carried chess planking. Untrained troops built 100-foot span in 10 hours. Germans captured Baileys but couldn't replicate bolted genius. Welded copies failed. Post-war, Bailey bridges rebuilt Europe. Longest civilian Bailey spanned Ottawa-Rideau Canal 1947. Military versions served Korea, Vietnam, Falklands. Bailey revolutionized military engineering, portable, rapid, universal. Donald Bailey, knighted 1946 for services of exceptional valor. His Meccano Bridge crossed every major European river from Rhine to Elbe. Mulberry Harbors created armies from beaches. Red Ball Express, Outram Blitzkrieg. Arctic convoys kept Soviet Union alive. Liberty ships outbuilt U-boat wolf packs. Bailey bridges spanned every river to Berlin. These 5 engineering feats delivered 20 million tons cargo, built 7,000 miles bridging, launched 12 million tons shipping. Generals planned battles. Engineers guaranteed victory. Logistics didn't support war. Logistics won World War II.